Hi, I'm Kelly Studer, and I'm super excited to be sitting down to talk to my longtime friend, Christy Turlington. Christy and I have been friends since we were kids. We lived 3 doors down growing up in Danville, California. And Christy, as many of you know, had a very successful career in early teens and into her 20s, and even today as one of the world's top models. And she's also gone on to be an entrepreneur, as well as a humanitarian, and do lots of amazing things in the world. So today, I really wanted to talk about personal branding. It's something that I talk to a lot of my clients about, and defining and developing. And Christy is somebody that I really admire for the personal brand that she's developed. So thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you so much. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, as I work with clients on their personal brand, I'm wondering what your definition is of personal brand, or how you would define it.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because given my earlier career as a model and representing other people's brands and other companies' brands, it took me a while to sort of understand that I had my own brand as well. And in some ways, calling it a brand sort of, I think, depersonalizes what I think I bring to those brands. And now it's almost that, because of the development of who I am as an individual, has brought so much more to their brand. So now when I get hired by a brand that I might have worked with 20 years ago, and I have a few of those long-term relationships, it's not because of the fact that I am someone that they can project what they are onto. It's that I have something else, which I guess is also a brand. So it's kind of a funny juxtaposition of how my thinking about what that is has come about. I do think that the more personal and the more connected you are to yourself and what you believe in, the more authentic and pure your brand is.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I've noticed, having followed you and knowing you for a long time, is you seem to have this real grace and humility about you. Having been in the industry that you're in, that's something I didn't necessarily see amongst all the models. That was really true of you, though, and it seemed consistent. And that's one thing I talk to people about, is how to create consistency so that it's over and over and over people associate you with certain traits and values and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that I'm very much the same person that I was, throughout my life. Mm-hmm. But also in the industry that I've had my longest career in, it's so easy to go different directions. And so I think I always had this great opportunity to look at different examples around me and to make choices based on, how I wanted to be perceived and the kind of person that I wanted to be in the world. And I felt like I got more and more grounded, the deeper I got into that world, the more grounded I became. And I don't know exactly why that is, but I would say that probably having a long yoga practice is very much a part of my staying grounded, staying authentic, because it's all about that connection with self in every aspect of your life. And so I feel like I kind of lead from my sort of gut and from my heart at the same time.
Yeah. So it sounds like when you think about your brand, it's sort of the values that you carry and how you project them in the choices that you make and how you put yourself out there in the world.
Absolutely. And even when I started a couple of businesses, one of them was called Nuala, and it was a lifestyle apparel line that I did in partnership with Puma. And Nuala, it's a name, but it also is an acronym. And when I was developing that name, these were all principles that I felt very strongly about. And so what it stands for is natural, the N is natural, universal, altruistic, limitless, and authentic. And those are 5 things that pretty much from that time, when I actually put it out on paper, that I've carried through with everything that I've done since.
I love that. I did not know it was an acronym. Wow, so I learned something new. That's really great. So As I work with clients, they're often asking me, what is exactly a personal brand? I know I'm supposed to be creating one or refining one so that I can have more reach and create a stronger reputation in my career, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. So what advice would you give to someone to help them hone their brand and create more clarity around it?
Well, I think that, authenticity is a really important part of building that personal brand. And I think that sometimes can take time to really, ask yourself the questions of like, who is it that I want to be? How do I want to be perceived? And that can take quite a bit of life experience to arrive at that place. But I do think to sort of ask yourself those questions is really important, to look at other examples out there and to sort of think like, is that something, I think there's a lot of that we don't do as much as we should. So
what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like I said, and even in my profession as a model, it was so easy to look around in that industry and sort of look at my peers, just amongst, that group, that base of people, to say like, oh, okay, and this is a funny example because we get a lot of credit in my industry for really simple things. But so, okay, I'm 16 years old in that industry and I get special attention because I'm on time. So simple. Mm-hmm. But nobody else is doing it. Right. So somehow that sets me apart from my peers. I finish a shoot and I leave the clothes that I've just worn just sitting on the floor, on the ground, in the dressing room or in the changing room. I pick them up, I hang them up. I get special attention for that too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those are the kinds of things, being aware of those little things that you can do that could make you stand out, and also are generally good things to do when you're in some kind of community or some kind of, group setting. And I think there's a lot that we can learn just from the people around us. And there's a lot of trial and error that can take place in those, it's like a laboratory. Everything is a little bit of a laboratory.
I think you said some really important things that is really true about brand and authenticity, and it's that you recognized what felt good to you, and then that is what became part of your brand because it was important to you. You wanted to be known for it.
Exactly.
And so you incorporated into how you lived your life and how you interacted with people, and even to notice the feedback you're getting from it. Like, oh, people are really responding to this, and maybe this is part of my brand.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think to be present is something that's really important, and then you can sort of know that in the moment to trust yourself, mm-hmm. that you could make the right choices based on being truly present.
So do you feel like there are any misconceptions about you or have been out there, and have you done anything to try to change them, or not really?
I guess I'm not totally, I don't think, clear on what perceptions actually are. But I would say, the cliche one, I would be lying if I said it didn't have some effect on me over the years, which was that by being in a career that is superficial, that I would be superficial, or that I would not be intelligent because I'm a model, or any of those kinds of things. And I'm sure that it has in part fueled my going back to school twice and mm-hmm. my wanting to prove myself in business and things like that. And so I don't take it as a negative. I'm glad that I was pushed and challenged, because the first career I had, I fell into. It was accidental. It wasn't by choice. And so I've taken the time and the luxury of what that career has given me to be able to explore and figure out, who am I and what do I want to do, and have, mm-hmm. That it's nice to be challenged sometimes, and it's sometimes negative perceptions can actually push you to prove yourself in positive ways.
Is there a legacy that you would like to leave behind?
I would think that the organization Every Mother Counts that I founded, that's something that's a legacy I'd like to leave behind. Not that it as an organization has to be around forever, but I'm hoping to make an impact on maternal health, on improving maternal health globally, but also in reducing maternal mortality. So it's a huge goal, but it's something that has so much potential because it's a solvable kind of issue. Most of the deaths are preventable. And so if I could leave some kind of mark in having improved the lives and well-being of moms around the world, that would be tremendous.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
It was really a pleasure.
Thank you. For me too.